everybody, happy Thursday. Now today's FAQ question is a good one, and I've heard it from a few of my Kenyans who are having a hard time, and I've even struggled with this myself. And the question is, how does one refill their empathy when it seems to have run completely out? More importantly, can we run out of empathy, or is it never ending? I thought this was a really good question. I actually found a really interesting article. I'll link it in the description. It was from Berkeley, I want to say. Anyways, I loved it. I read that one. I read a few others. This was a really great question for those of you who asked me on Twitter. I found it really just so interesting. So educational. It's great to understand us as humans and how we work. Am I right? So the truth of it is that, yes, we can run out of empathy. Empathy isn't something we have endless vats of. And that's for two reasons, okay? So let's break it down. The first is, and this is what was most interesting to me, is that empathy as a whole is a great thing, right? And we always think of it as something that we should all be. We should feel for others. We should help others, right? We should be like Mother Teresa. We should do all these things. And so we see it as something that we all should strive for. With that being said, we can't be empathic to everyone. That could really fuck us up. Right? We could actually mess up our life if we're too empathic for others and don't care about ourselves enough and put ourselves first, right? If we are always looking to other people and we feel for other people, that can be so overwhelming at a certain point because we as humans have our own limitations emotionally, physically, etc. Am I right? You following? Because the truth of it is that if we cared for everyone, there's nothing left for us. And that was one of the things that when I was reading about it, I was like, wow. And they even go on to talk, if you want to read the article, they talk about how it's actually easier for us to be empathic for one person versus having empathy for groups, because groups just feel overwhelming. And then they even quote Mother Teresa when she's like, if I looked at the masses, I could never get anything done. I could never help anyone. But one at a time, you can make a difference. Gotta love you some Mother Teresa. But the truth is that is how it is. Like if we look at all these people and we're trying to help all these people, we as one person may just need a nap because it's too much and we can't do that much ourselves. Emotionally, we'll be completely burnt out. The second thing is you can kind of see what I'm alluding to, is that we have to fill our own bucket first before we start pouring out into others, meaning we have to have time for self-care. And if our self-care or mental health are slipping, then we have nothing to give. We can't feel for anybody else. If we're having a shit day, I can't listen to someone and be like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm here for you. In my head, I'm just like, are you kidding me? Today's terrible. I don't have time for this garbage. We can be really short-tempered. We can be really frustrated. It can be hard to be soft and empathic towards others. Therefore, make sure if you're putting a lot out, if you're helping someone, if you're a nurse, if you're a doctor, if you're any kind of mental health professional, if you're a teacher, if you're a customer service representative, if you work serving the community in any way, like if you're at Starbucks or if you're a bagger at a grocery store, if you interact with people every day, understand that's a lot out. We're empathizing and we're caring a lot. We're doing a lot with others. And so we need to make sure that we are putting back into ourselves. Otherwise, heck yeah, our empathy runs out. You know, I talk about how we have poker chips in life. Like when we wake up, we have a certain number of poker chips, and if we wake up and we haven't slept well, we already dropped half of our poker chips. Poker chips almost being your patience, your empathy, your whatever, your strength. And we run out of them throughout the day. And we have to, disseminate them across, scatter them evenly so that we can get throughout our day without lashing out at someone. Are you following? And so thinking of this and empathy with regard to that is we have to restock our poker chips every day. Otherwise, the next day, we don't have any. And so the truth of it is that how do we refill our empathy when it seems to have completely run out? My advice would be take a break. Take a break from being empathic towards others. That doesn't mean be an asshole. I'm not giving you permission to just be a jerk. I'm just saying that we can take a break from feeling so much and trying to care for people. You can simply not engage in those conversations. Or if someone tries to come to you for advice, you can say, I'm working on myself this week, so I can't talk about that right now. And I'm sorry. I know you're probably having a hard time, but I'm not in a place where I can help. That's okay. I know that can feel like a big asshole move, especially when we're totally empathic people. We're like, oh, but they're probably having a hard time. Do your best to not put yourself in those situations, but if it happens, know that you can completely throw up a boundary and say, I have to give back to myself. I've been having a really hard time. That's the end of the conversation, period. Poof. Therefore, then we can actually refill it. So that's to answer the question. It seems to have run completely out. That's because you're not filling up your bucket. And also, going back to the first thing, we should kind of be specific about who we want to be empathic towards. And if we struggle to do that and we feel like we are responsible for everyone, then that's something that you should talk about in therapy, because a lot of that has to do with asserting ourselves, having respect for ourselves, and even kind of self-confidence, because that comes into like putting boundaries up and what's appropriate and what's okay. I'll even speak candidly. We have a very large community and I do my best. I read all of your comments and approve them each and every day. I'm on the website, I'm on Twitter, I'm interacting as much as I can, but I'm only one person, right? I don't have any minions doing my bidding, hence the name Kittens. But I can't get through every comment and I can't get back to everyone. And I know if I try to do that, I feel terrible and my mental health suffers. So I have rules and boundaries around when I'm going to answer questions. I always say I'll try to get through as many as I can, which is true. And I get on the website and I answer some of those and I just do what I can. But I've let myself off the hook, knowing that if I'm having a hard time, I don't have anything to give. And I had talked to this astrologist a while back, probably a year ago now, wow. But she had said, I'm completely out of water. And water in that realm means like self-care. And she was like, you have to give back to yourself. You're completely out of water. And so I love the bucket analogy. Like I have to fill up my water, meaning I have to love on myself before I can pour out and fill your cups to make sure that you have the love you need too. So keep those things in mind, but know that heck yeah, we can run out of empathy. It's not a never-ending well. It's like a little bucket, and we have to make sure that we fill our bucket, okay? I hope you found that helpful. I thought that was such a cool question and so interesting. And I hope that you liked that I didn't really edit much of this video because it's coming to you like an old FAQ. But I will see you next time. I love you. Bye.